Hey folks, it's Guy here, how you doing? Now, I'm just turning this one around and getting it started up again because we actually finished when I stopped recording. It was just in the process of turning around. So I'm just trying to make sure that it is absolutely spot on because there is, like the few, it's not fully multi-angle terrain on this map, but there is extra angles on the map compared to normal, or at least that's what we think. So yeah, I do need to kind of get that one lined up again. It's still chugging along, still doing a fantastic job. Absolutely brilliant. Still very, very noisy over here as well. And it's done more than half of this field now, so there is hope. We may finish this task before we finish on this map. We might, just might be able to do it. There's no guarantee, obviously, but we might just be able to do it. Oh, it's a great big pile of straw there. I don't know how it's going to cope with having to go right over the top because, I mean, when it comes back through, it's only going to sort of put the wheel over part of it. I mean, there it'll... No, it's not enough straw there to make it actually bounce up and down any, so it does seem to be doing okay. And it's gone through a few piles of stuff by now. Anyway, we don't need to worry about that. Today, we are going to continue on with our haymaking. Now, as you can see, I have already done all of the baling. Let me just go onto here, and we want to go to work position. I'm actually going to go to unload, and then I'm going to load them up again. I'm going to go back to work position. Now, actually, if we switch that one off, and we move it, and then we unload again, and then we switch it back onto work position. It's pure, the reason I'm doing this is because I just want to make absolutely certain that it's loading the bales properly. Now, we've got over 50 bales scattered around in this field now. I can't remember exactly how many, but I mean 50 bales, that's over 5 million litres of hay that we've got scattered around on this particular field. So I would like to try to find them all. And this is going to be a little bit tricky, actually, trying to find all of these bales because of how small they are. So, I mean, they do show up. You can see them in the distance as we come sort of whizzing along. But at the same time, I feel it could be fairly easy to miss some of them, given the enormous size of this map. But if we've got 50 of them, we had, when we finished the last episode, I think it's like 56 or something like that. I should have written it down when I finished doing all the baling. But yeah, we had 15 bales on this trailer when we finished the last episode. So we're going to end up with 60-something, maybe even 70 bales on this trailer. And that's like 7 million litres, because these bales are 100,000 litres each, which is a massive, massive amount of hay. That's good. That's a really good thing. Now, we've got some bales of hay, straw, rather. We do have some straw, nothing like the quantities of hay and silage that we've got, so we're going to have to do some more combining at some point soon, and then some baling of straw, and this is going to be my last excursion using small bales. So we won't be using small bales on this map anymore because of how difficult they are to try to locate and pick up. Now, I did miss a little bit of hay back there, but it's nothing major. We've got a bit here. Another bale here. So yes, while we gently cruise around and gather up all the rest of these bales, the weekly question that I asked you all last week was, how long did you want me to stay on this map before we move from here and go on to the next one? I originally intended only to do a few weeks on here, 4, maybe 6 weeks on this map, and then move on to another one because it was just kind of going to be a play around thing. It's developed into a full series, and there's no reason that I can think of that we should stop the series anytime soon. Well, I say no reason to stop the series. There's no reason to stop doing an unrealistic series. I've decided that I'm going to stay doing an unrealistic one as well as doing a realistic one because you seem to like the realism, but you also seem to like this. You seem to like the balance between the two. Having a laugh, having some fun, really pushing the absolute boundaries of what the game will allow you to do. Now, obviously, Some people are going to say that you're adding mods into the game, so it's changing what the game will allow you to do. Well, not really, no, because what the mods are doing is adjusting the game as the developers intended. The developers intend for you to add mods into the game and make changes and alterations to suit your own particular style of gameplay. So we can keep making these alterations and changes, and they are still within what was originally intended with this game. It doesn't have to be an absolute realistic simulator. Now, I know from some of the comments that I get occasionally, and I don't get very many of them, but you do get comments about how it's just childish gameplay and this is not how you should be playing. This is a simulator, not a game. I'm going to have to agree to disagree on that, because as far as I'm concerned, this is a game and we can play it however we like. So, yeah, today I would like some suggestions of things that you'd like to see done in Farming Simulator. And I don't just mean ordinary requests. I mean, what is like sort of the most outlandish thing you can think of that you would like to see attempted in Farming Simulator that you've never attempted? It might potentially involve completely game-breaking mods or something like that. I was thinking at some point of including a few episodes, not on this map, but on maybe a standard size map, but trying to use some mods or some altered mods that could potentially completely break the game. And so it's not really something that we could save and then move on and do again. So it's not something I'd like to do on a long-term map, but maybe for a couple of episodes in between some series, we could go and look at some really outrageous mods, the sort of ones that you never really want to try on your own map for fear of completely and totally breaking your game and never being able to use it again. Now, I will, if I'm going to use such mods, if I'm going to use anything like that, I will be doing all kinds of backups to my games, to my files, and to everything else that I can think of before I attempt to do any recording with it. But it could be interesting, so if you've got any suggestions, anything you want seen, get into the comment sections. Today is the day that I would like all of those suggestions, so that I ask for some of these things occasionally so that I know the video to go for, so that I can go and look at all the comments on that particular video to sort of see what the ideas that have been thrown around are. I mean, like Gorala, at the beginning of this week, I've been asking for reasons to move to South America and backstory to add in to add money to the map, and some of the suggestions I've been getting are just priceless. They're absolutely brilliant. Some of the ideas that you guys are coming up with are amazing. So that's what I'm asking for today, is ideas about what you want to see done on an unrealistic gameplay. And it wouldn't be as an ongoing series, it would be one that I would do as like a separate thing to really push what the game might be able to put out. And one of those things that I do get asked for all the time is changing the bale capacity to 1 and then bombing down through the lines of whatever it is that we've got. Now, I'm not going to be changing bale capacity to 1 on this map, because when you do that, you get to a certain point where you've got so many bales, it then sort of breaks your game and you can't reload it. You do have kind of issues with that, and it can cause issues with the save and everything. So I would do it, and I have done it in the past, but it's something that couldn't be saved and couldn't be kept for other people to use later on. It's kind of a one-off thing. So I might do something like that at the end of this episode. Really try to like have a really wide width, a pickup width, like the kind of standard adjustments that I make to various vehicles. Really wide, and then see how many bales that we can sort of throw out. And it doesn't really work like a cannon in this game. I've noticed that it doesn't shoot them out the back anymore. I mean, it might with the small baler. We haven't tried it with the small baler yet, but certainly for the big baler, it doesn't shoot them out the back. It instead just kind of shoots them skywards in a very peculiar fashion, but it launches them out of the baler instead of out the back of the baler, which out the top of the baler rather than out the back. And it does seem a little bit of an odd thing to do, but that's kind of how FS17 works. But anyway, that's all aside. What I was asking you all last week was, how long did you want me to stay on this map? And I had 2,794 people answer this question, and of the 2,794, only 255 people think that we should wrap this series up in the next couple of weeks and then move on to a new map. 1,032 of you would like me to wait until the indeterminate amount of time passes that before the new Australian map is released, the 16x1, and then we go straight on from here straight to that one. And 1,507 of you would like me to stay on this map until November the 14th, when the new DLC South American map is released, and then move to South America. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to stay here until November the 14th, and then we will move from here to the South American map, and we will do a month, maybe 6 weeks, messing around on there with sugarcane and stuff like that, whilst simultaneously doing the series that is replacing Gorala with a realistic series on that DLC map. So I'm going to be doing a realistic series and an unrealistic series both at the same time. So it'll be opposite ends of the week. The end of the week will be the unrealistic one, and the beginning of the week will be the realistic one, sort of as normal. I don't think there are any bales left now. I think we've got them all. So yes, you will have a few. It'll only be a few weeks. So 4 to 6 weeks, I would say. So we'll probably end up changing maps around about Christmas time, as it's going to be November the 14th. Maybe I'll bring it sort of back a bit early, and we'll swap the maps over a couple weeks before Christmas, and then move to a new one. I mean, by that time the Australian map might be out, so in which case then we'll move to Australia, and we'll start doing the really unrealistic stuff down in Ausland. And a few people did point out that I'd spelt Aussie wrong, whereas I'd spelt it O-double-Z-Y, and it should be A-U-S-S-I-E. In actual fact, it can have either spelling. I've seen it both times, many times, from people resident in Australia and people not resident in Australia, and most people don't seem to mind too much. So yeah, and the reason I used that particular spelling was because if I'd used the A-U-S-S-I-E spelling on the question, it wouldn't quite fit onto the line. You're very limited to the amount of letters that you can put in the in each of the options when you're putting up with the polls. And yes, I realise that the last few weeks I have been getting a bit sloppy with forgetting to put the poll up when the video is released. I'm working on it, and I'm hopefully able to sort of keep up with it slightly. It really does look like we've gathered all of these bales now, doesn't it? Right, my question for this week. Actually, I'm going to keep driving. We'll head up this way here. If we just do a straight line up through here, just in case. We may see another couple of bales that we've missed. There's probably a huge area of the field that I've completely missed, and it doesn't say how many bales we've got on here. Let's just have a quick count, because it is 5 bales per width. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 50, 60, 69 bales. That does seem about right, actually, because we had 10 on and was 50 something. I think it was 54, and we had 15 bales on there. So 69, that would be absolutely spot on. All right, so we will start heading back over this way. Now, I have a suggestion for something I'd like to try to do before we finish up on this map. I think that we've got time to do it. We've got 2 months. Basically what we're looking at now, isn't it? It's about 2 months, or 2 months and a week or something like that. If you take a look at the map here, we turned all of this into sugar beet, and we are soon going to be harvesting this sugar beet. We are currently about to go and take the hay over to the cows, and then we're in a position where we can start buying cows, and we were going to start with like 5,000 of them, and maybe get another 5,000 just thrown in as well. We've got a whole load of sugarcane fertilizer down here. Well, actually, what I want to do, I'll tell you what, we could do that now. Let me just turn that off, and then we want to go down through here. There's a vehicle I want to get down here, and there's all our John Deeres again. And nope, there we go. I want this one. Now we've got our... Why are you over here? I thought that you were down the bottom end of the map. I must have moved him. Right, so in which case we need to go up like that, and then there, and then down here somewhere. There we go. And there is our line of... Oh, there it is. Is our trailer that we've got over here. Now, I was looking at potentially making this trailer bigger. Not bigger, the loading speed faster, but I really don't know how to do that, you know, where we're buying the fertilizer. And I want to do it with fertilizer if I can, because I think it would be more fun doing this job with fertilizer. So if we take this one and then we go over to the fertilizer sell point, which is here somewhere. Actually, I want to go... That is the feed and supply. So if I drop here, I should... Yes, there's a load of fertilizer right there. So this is the right spot. And we should have a big bud here somewhere. Well, I thought there was a big bud here somewhere. Oh, no, I ended up getting rid of the big bud, didn't I? I've sold the big bud. So what we're going to do is we're going to back a trailer up in here again. And I'm going to leave it on this tractor for now. And we're going to start loading it again. We might actually have to get some more money before we finish doing this, because a trailer load of 8.5 million litres of fertilizer isn't cheap. So let's just start loading that one again. It took an awfully long time to load it up, didn't it? So I might actually cheat a bit of that in at some point, but not right now. So yes, we've got that job to do down at the bottom of the map. We're going to have a play around down there. I've got the bulldozer ready to play around with, and we're certainly going to do an episode with that. We might actually do that at the end of this week. We've got all of the sugar beet here to harvest and gather up, and we're going to tip it somewhere. Several of you would like to see me trying to fill this gorge up with sugar beet all the way around. Whether or not we'd then be able to remove it again and sell it is a completely different matter. I'm not sure if we'd actually be able to do that or not. We need to harvest more straw when we can. Obviously, that there is canola, so we're not going to be able to do that. But we've got a field here of wheat. We've got a field here of wheat that we could do. So we've got more things that we need to get done. We need the straw because we need to be able to give the cattle more bedding in that. You then wanted me, you wanted me to do all animals. Now, the sheep, I don't really want to do very much else to the sheep because it's the actual loading of the sheep trough isn't working properly. We're having some serious issues with that. So that's not actually working very well. Let me just go a little bit faster here so we can run through. We've got a whole load of pallets of wool here. They are producing. So, I mean, we're not putting any food in for the sheep, but at the same time, they are still manufacturing wool for us, which is an excellent thing. So we do at least sort of, we've got a taste of those. Then pigs, and we were going to look at those, and we were actually going to look at just giving them the complete feed and buy that from the shop and maybe do that. So that's something else that I was thinking to do. But what we do with the sheep is that we would get a mod of some sort so that we could do it like that. Now, if we got... Oh, there's little bits of straw left in this field, but not a massive amount. That's... Oh, never mind that. Let's go this way. So I've got all of the pigs to do. And we're going to buy a whole load of pigs. I'm not quite sure how many pigs we're going to buy, but we're going to buy a lot. Probably 5,000 to 10,000. I mean, it does take a little while to actually go and buy several thousand animals. I mean, the sheep here, we got 2,500. And it does take a while to buy them. I mean, it's a lot faster than the last version of the game. So, yes, we've got those tasks to do. But the thing that then I was considering doing, and this will be very dependent on whether you think that I should or not, and I don't think we'd be able to do it in one, but basically turn the map into a big field. And this is going to be quite a challenge, and it's not something that I will be doing all of on my own off camera. There will be at least two, maybe 3 episodes of ploughing where we are working our way around the map. I'll use the plough that I've already altered, and I've got it adjusted because I think that one will work quite well. We don't need another plough to go with it, and that one's wide enough. We don't want it wider than that, mainly because I still want to be able to sort of get round everything and get round the fences and stuff. I mean, if you take a look over here, if we go and look at this bit here, we've got roads all over the place that could be difficult to get round. I'm not going to be able to do... Oh, we've also got the railroad. And it is, yes, I said railroad. We're in America, we're in Texas, so it needs to be railroad and not railway, which is what we have in the UK. So, yeah, you've got this here, and I have been told that you can actually plough up across the railroads, and you can do it just like that. But where we've got these bigger roads like this, I won't be ploughing these up. So and also there is fence lines as well to sort of come into it. So we've got some fence lines and some railroads, so we won't be able to do it all into a single field. But we could certainly enlarge the field. We can go right round the gorge here, and then round this side, and all the way up through here. I don't think there's any fence here between field 5 and 6, if we take a look at that. Some sunflowers there. Look, see, I mean, there's a gorge here that we can't plough up, but we could plough up some of the stuff next to it. And we will sort of try to work our way round and make everything into as big a field as we possibly can. We will sacrifice any roads that we need to. And, I mean, like here, we could potentially make this into a separate field, but I'm not going to. I would go up here and go round the edge like that. So it would still actually be the same field. Because we're sort of moving around the edges of these gorges as much as we can. And then we will plant the entire field up, and we will end up, or plant up the fields, however many we have to do, and then we will combine them. And we'll probably combine them with these bad boys here. Now, these are fairly quick combines. We did increase the speed. They've got a fair capacity on them as well. The baler, I might keep the balers on the back, but I'd say that's probably unlikely. What we will probably do is we'll adjust a baler so that we can go around with a baler afterwards and have it a much bigger baler than the one that we've got at the moment, in order to do this properly. So my question is, do you want me to do this? Do you think this is going to be too much of a project? Because it's probably going to take a couple of weeks for us working through it, because I'm not intending to do loads of it off camera. A lot of it will be on camera. So you will be seeing probably nearly a week of ploughing, and then we've got all the planting to do and things like that. So it's going to be a very big job. We're going to have to work through, I mean, like planting and stuff like that is easy because it can be done with hired help, so we can get loads of other machines sort of participating and helping out, and keeping it all moving smoothly. But the ploughing certainly is something that we will have to do manually. Do you want to see something like this take place? Do you want me to embark on this huge project of turning this 4x map into what is potentially, going by where the fences are, I mean, we've got, there's fence lines here, but I don't think there's any along that bit there. So, I mean, the field would end up coming all the way up there and all the way down through here. If you go and have a look in field 19, so you've got the fence here. So we wouldn't actually be able to do anything in between, but we come down this side as well. And if I lift myself up a bit so we get a more aerial view as we run around, you've got all of this. You can have a circle. You basically would encircle this house here completely. All of this road could all be ploughed up. And then down here, obviously this would be a boundary line, because we wouldn't be able to plough up this field. I wouldn't be going across any fence lines or any big roads like this. And then we would move on to this side. Now, this side would end up being different, because you've got the railroads down here and you've got a few other bits and pieces as well. So it would basically mean that you'd end up with what I think would be one big field all up through here, with like a line up through there. And then you've got the bits where the animals are as well. We'd sort of have to go round the animal bits. And then you'd have a few fields down here. You've got one here. You've got a gorge that separates it here, plus you've got the railroad. So you'd have one field here, you'd have another field here, and then I don't know if there's fences around these, but yeah, so you could end up with, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think there's a fence on that road, and then 5 and 6 fields below this point, and then this one up here becomes one big field. So do you want me to do this? I mean, it's a massive project. It's a huge thing to do. And it might not be to everybody's tastes for me to do something like that. It's a massive undertaking, and it's going to be like a couple of weeks at least to get everything ploughed and planted so that it is ready to go. And then obviously we've got to harvest it and process all of the straw, the grain, and everything else. So yes or no, do you want me to do the massive, great big field like that? And I apologize that I have spent this entire episode talking about this plan that I've got for the future. I did not intend originally to do this, but it has happened, and I don't regret it. I wanted to show you around and sort of talk to you about these plans because it's going to be a massive undertaking. And I didn't want you to sort of be voting on this particular project without being properly informed of what is going on. Now, hopefully, you have all been able to see the time-lapse now. We had some serious issues, namely some power cuts. We've had a couple of those in the last few weeks, mainly because our current power supply is about 75 years old. That supplies all the houses in my area, and it probably do with a little updating sometime soon. So, yeah, hopefully that will happen at some point. But at the moment, it's not going to happen, so, yeah, hopefully the repairs they've done will now mean I'm not going to be subjected to such things for any time soon. And yeah, so it did result in a very late time lapse by a day almost. 22 hours. It wasn't quite a day. It was only 22 hours late. I feel that is something to be proud of, surely. I mean, 22 hours. I mean, it's less than a day. It was less than a day late. Anyway, hopefully that won't happen again. We'll get these over now. We're going to just drive over to the farm and we're going to dump them there. We have a new machine that we're going to bring over. Actually, there's a couple of machines that I've gotten ready so that we can start feeding the cows when we've bought them. But we're going to buy the cows first. We've got a water tower and a water bowser right there that we were using with the sheep. We could do exactly the same that we did with the sheep with the cows so that we can load them up with water. 5,000 cows is what we're going to start off with. Then we're going to move a bit later on. We'll probably upgrade them and we'll go to 10,000. The reason I'm starting at 5,000 is because I want to see just how much, what kind of feed we've got to get in for them and for bedding and everything else. How much does it take to actually run 5,000 cows? And what's involved with running 5,000 cows? I mean, that is a massive undertaking. There's no sort of two ways about it. It's a huge thing to have to do to feed 5,000 cows. Now, yeah, it looks like you've already got cows in here, but that's just the graphics on it. If we come over to this bit right here, and we want to press this one, right. Cows. Now we can start buying, and I'm not going to be ferrying cows in from anywhere else. I'm literally just going to do this, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this. I think you go up to, was it 999 cows you can get? So yeah, I'm just literally, I'm rolling the roller on the mouse now as fast as I can, and we will sit here and we will get up to 999. Well, it's not 999, it's actually a full 1,000, but there we go. 1,000 cows. $5 million, but it's actually $5.2 million because we've got to pay for them to be delivered. So we'll get that lot a minute. Confirm. Yes, I really want to buy them. And now we'll do the same again. Well, actually, first of all, let's just go and... Oh, no, it's not actually going to have anything at all here because... I mean, the cleanliness is full. But, yeah, the whole water thing, we'll need to get them... You've got to get them water before they have any productivity, don't you? But we'll do that in a second. Let's get the next 5,000. Next 1,000, I should say. There's another 5,000. That makes another $5.2 million. Let's get those. And I will quickly buy another 3,000 cows. That's the last one. 5,000. Confirm. Yes. We now have $9.5 million. We started with $100 million, and now all we've got is 9.5 million. Well, you know what they say, easy come, easy go. So, we have we've spent $90 million on this place so far. 90 million! That's a massive amount. Right, next up, we need to find out where we can put the water. We've got straw here, so let's go and take some bedding. And if I slow down just a bit, let's go to 8 times run speed. Oop, not like that. I think 8 times run speed might be too fast to carry the bale. So let's go to 3 times run speed and see if we can do that. So there we go. That's working. Now, if we take the bale over this way and we should... Can we just chuck it in here? Yes. Right, there's that thrown in and that's nothing. It's literally nothing, which I got a horrible feeling. I think that we're going to use most of the straw that we've got, because we don't have a lot of straw, do we? We've only got like 2 million litres of straw left. That's not a great deal. We're going to need... Oop, I didn't want to do that. we're going to need straw. And a lot of it fairly soon. Let's chuck that one in there. There we go. And no, I don't want that. I want this. Right, 200,000 litres. Yeah, we're going to need a lot more straw than I originally thought with our 5,000 cows. Next, we need to find where is the water. That's got to be the next thing. So if we just lift ourselves up like this so that we can take a little look around. We want to get the water, and we want to be able to put some water into them. Oh, is that? Oh, no, that's the slurry there. That's where you gather up the slurry. And is that water on the outside over there? Is that how you get to it? All right, let's go up through here. And, right, there's a gate there that you can go through, or you can go all the way down this end, and there's a gate you can go that way, or we do have an opening gate here, so we can go out through here. Come round to the side. Right, there's nothing on that side. It does look like this here is water, especially with the mud right next to it. That is fairly indicative of it being water right here. So if I could put a water tank thing right here next to it, so we'll buy one of those, and come on, hurry up. There we go, water tower. That's the one that I want. If I can get a water... Yes, I can get a water tower. That will work. So if we can just turn ourselves around like that, and then we want to rotate the water tower around that way. And that should then allow us to put a water tanker between there and the next point. So we can come out of there. Right. Next up, we want to get that water tanker that is next to the sheep. So... you know what, we could use one of these tractors. We'll just unhitch that one, and we'll take this one and go F11 and then drop down next to the sheep. Well, it's actually there in the middle, so if we drop up here, so we're not too close, close enough, and I am running out of time. I really should be wrapping this up now. I should have wrapped it up already. Oh, I like the fact that there's some dry ground there, where, you know, you've got all these mud patches. I quite like the fact they've added in one that's dried out as well. That's actually pretty good. So, yes, my question for this week is, do you want me to do this project that I spent most of this episode talking about? Do you want me to plough up the majority of this map, and then when I've ploughed up the majority of this map, go and plant it all and harvest it all and all of the rest of it? So we sort of turn the map into as fewer fields as we can, and most of the map into fields as well. Do you want me to do this? Is it something you'd like to see, or do you think it's perhaps a little bit too much and not the sort of thing that you would be interested in at all? Do you think perhaps that is, even for us on a massive scale of things that we're doing here on this map, do you think that is perhaps a little bit too much? So it's your vote, it's your game. Head in the comment section down below, let us know which one you want and why, and of course don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right hand corner. I was hoping that this was the water trough, but it doesn't appear to be. We've got water, but it's not allowing us to unload. So we're going to need... I will try to find out where the water trough is between now and next week, because I really have run out of time. So if you enjoyed this episode, then please head down below, give me a like, and if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.